What's up, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in. Sorry I haven't been able to put out a whole lot of content lately. Going through a big move right here, as you can see. There's going to be a change to the studio. There's going to be a change to my content coming up soon. I'm trying to learn a little bit more video editing, and might make an intro video and, just something to make the channel better. But you guys have been extremely supportive. I really appreciate everything that y'all are doing for me. I've gotten a lot of subscribers, a lot of views, a lot of likes lately. So here in the next coming weeks, you guys have shown that you're interested in what I'm doing, and I'm going to invest more time and more effort into this. So thank you guys very much. I really do appreciate it. But I wasn't able to get out the national championship preview, and I wasn't able to get out an immediate reaction to the national championship. But I'm going to give you my 24 hours later reaction to the national championship. And that is basically that this game should have never happened. This playoff bracket should have never happened. Quite frankly, you got three SEC teams outside of Georgia that would run just absolutely mop the floor with Michigan, Ohio State, and especially TCU. TCU was... I'm not going to say that they were lucky because Michigan put up 2 pick sixes. TCU handled business with Michigan. But, Michigan ran Ohio State. And Ohio State's been crying about weather and crying about what they're, the circumstances under which they play with Ryan Day. And still you have just a team that had no business being in the playoffs just drag Ohio State. I had a tweet that went somewhat viral, where I said, somebody said that Georgia did to Tennessee, LSU, and Florida what they did to TCU, and that's just objectively not true. What happened to TCU last night was historic. What happened to TCU last night was just absolutely unbelievable. TCU came into a national championship game as a number 3 seed that beat a number 2 seed and was expected to actually come out and perform. They scored 1 touchdown very early, and then the game just outside of that, it never existed. I'm not even going to say that it fell apart. It just never existed. 65-7. That is the greatest bowl deficit in the history of college football. That is the greatest national championship deficit. And I don't care if you want to talk about college football playoffs, BCS national championship, or the consensus era. There has never been a bowl game that uneven, that just absolutely ridiculous level of scoring. I sat there. I'm a Gator hater. I hate Florida more than anybody. I thought it was funny when Florida lost 30-3. I would have never thought in my life that somebody in a national championship game would get beat worse than Florida got beat by Oregon State 30-3. And they got beat 65-7. Tennessee lost 27-13. Yeah, it was 24-6 at halftime. Hendon Hooker missed a couple throws. It was raining. I've seen a lot of people on the internet talking about Tennessee was, Tennessee fans say that the game would have been closer if it wasn't raining. Georgia fans say it would have gotten more out of hand if it wasn't raining. It doesn't matter if it was raining or not. Under no circumstances would that Tennessee-Georgia game get to 65-7. That Georgia-Missouri game would not get to 65-7. That Georgia-Samford game would not get to 65-7 under any circumstances. This was just absolute domination on all 3 phases of the game by Georgia. I'm really starting to think that Ohio State had a fluke. If anybody in this playoffs was a fluke, it was Ohio State. That they kept the game that close. I know they had a couple players sit out. Georgia missed some plays early, but just the way that Georgia played last night, there is under no circumstances any way that if Georgia and Ohio State played 10 times, that Ohio State would ever come that close to what they did against Georgia 2 weeks ago. So Unfortunately, I got to say that congrats to Georgia. Kudos to them. Stetson Bennett, a lot of people have been hating on Stetson Bennett being a 25-year-old. Me personally, I love it. I would rather have somebody that stays 7 years in college football and learns and develops and performs and goes and wins 2 consecutive national championships as a Heisman Trophy finalist than somebody like Anthony Richardson at Florida that has done absolutely nothing, but some idiot like Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper Jr. says, oh, he's a first-round draft pick because he's tall and he's big and he can throw the ball 70 yards. Well, yeah, if we're just basing the game off being able to throw the ball a really long way and being strong and being big, then Joe Milton should be the number 1 overall pick over Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young's a Heisman Trophy winner. Bryce Young has proved that he can complete passes. He's proven that he can play quarterback. But Joe Milton can throw the ball a lot further than he can he? So if we're going to sit here and talk about Will Levis and Anthony Richardson over guys like Hendon Hooker and Stetson Bennett, regardless of their age, regardless of their performance on the field, why are we talking about Bryce Young? Bryce Young can't throw the ball that far. So, anyways, just a little sidebar. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous the way these NFL guys, and I'm not talking about the NFL scouts that work for actual NFL teams. I'm talking about these guys that have made a career off of just making up stuff and being perpetually wrong about NFL draft prospects like Mel Kiper Jr. I think if I'm an NFL scout and I'm looking at a guy that can actually play the position, can actually be an NFL caliber quarterback, I'm taking Stetson Bennett over Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. Obviously not over Bryce Young, because Bryce Young's proven that he can do all of it. Bryce Young's he's a really good player, but the other two are not. And Stetson Bennett has proven 2 consecutive seasons that he can win national championships. So, anyways, the Vols are playing tonight. We'll see how that goes. The Vanderbilt's making a trip to Knoxville. They're an 18-point favorite. I wouldn't touch that. I got a little video coming up here in a little bit, seeing about that. But we're gonna get the studio set up, move things forward a little bit for y'all, and I really appreciate you guys for everything. So I'll see you later. Peace. Go Vols.